friends, welcome to another episode of the TFT Podcast, where culture meets chaos. I'm your highly blessed favorite and a little bit messy host, Lauren the Dom, aka the motherfucking Dom daughter. Ooh, y'all get the point. Anyway, welcome back and happy Friday, everyone. Child, we have literally made it to the middle of May. I'm telling you, time is literally not even a thing anymore because the way shit is just moving by so fast. I can't keep up. But nonetheless, we have a great episode ahead. Thank you to my first and my last time listeners for being here. Look, when I say things have been a little quiet because I think people are cooking up for the summer, right? And I think people are cooking up for the summer simply because they know that they want 2026 to feel like 2016. So I feel like everybody's in the studio, kind of minding their business or whatever the case is. Or it just might have been quiet this week simply because y'all was so focused on the pagan shit that y'all couldn't focus on anything else. You know what I'm saying? But nonetheless, again, we have a great episode ahead, and I don't want to keep you all waiting any longer. So let's go ahead and get into the shit that y'all came here for, which is not the mess, because I know you all love being some messy ass bitches. Now, moving into TV and movies. So it seems like every week that we come on this podcast, it seems like we are constantly talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? And I understand that Real Housewives of Atlanta is going to be trending simply because they're on their 17th season right now. So like everything is just resurfacing drama, or I'm not even gonna say like everything is resurfacing. I will say like everything is just, people are just watching shit in real time, I guess, and now are commenting on things. Cheating allegations is coming out at the child. It's just too much, right? So speaking of cheating allegations, right? If you know, then you know that Portia Williams technically was just married to some African named Simon, who was also married to a girl who was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She wasn't like a peach holder, but she was kind of like a friend of the show or whatever. But basically, the whole thing started because Portia supposedly stole this lady's husband or whatever. Like, apparently, they was kicking it before they actually got a divorce, and then on the show, it was one of those things where they made it seem like it was a first time meeting, yada yada yada, right? So because Portia was kicking it with the husband, the wife, her name is Fallon, I believe. She was actually the one that was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Fallon was kicking it with somebody else who was currently her father's baby daddy or whatever. Fallon was kicking it with somebody else who is currently her new child's father or whatever the case is. I think that they are married, maybe, or whatever. I don't fucking know. It's just a whole lot of. So with that being said, right, Fallon and Simon are currently on the internet basically talking about cheating allegations. I personally think that Simon is very much bitter simply because not only have both of your marriage, well, all of your marriages have ended, bitch. You've been married about 6 times and none of them have worked out. Your visa and shit was taken or whatever the case is. Like, your life is literally in shambles, and the only thing you have to do is literally talk down on the women that you are no longer married to simply because you have nothing else to do with your life, ho. That's what it gives. Okay, um so basically, Simon had posted a receipt of his ex-wife cheating or whatever, and it was just one of those things where she was seen like leaving with the her current, she was basically seen leaving with her current husband. I believe his name is Jalen. So he posted that and basically said, like, I learned my ex-wife was cheating from the nanny, not the CCTV. That only confirmed it. Oh, I guess that's like the little camera outside. He said, meanwhile, you both were busy planning where to place a crib in a house I wasn't even obligated to pay for under the divorce settlement, but did anyway, out of kindness of your unborn child. Fallon says, Here you go with this cheating video on February 18th, 2021, of Jalen walking into the house after him and I went out. She said, let me remind you, you left me on February 14th at 7 a.m. to drive to Miami to meet Portia and Shamia. You and I were separated at the time of that video of Jalen. She then posted screenshots basically saying, I can't figure out. It's basically Simon saying, I can't figure out why the gate is still open. Maybe check with the uncle how he does he get the trash bins out on Thursdays. He may be holding the gate open with the trash bin and causing it to stay open. Yada yada yada. This was currently February 18th. She basically was putting up a whole bunch more um she was putting up a bunch more screenshots of the conversation. I think he even brung up. Oh yeah, so she says the conversation was hard discussing. The conversation was had discussing the reason for Jalen staying at our home that evening. Bitch, you had your new nigga spending the night at your old nigga crib. Bitch. I'm not even mad at it. He basically Simon was like, so camera shows Jalen came home with you last night. Care to explain? And he says, I'm not going to do this on text, so you can call me or whatever the case is. And then Fallon says, after the news broke of you and Portia getting engaged, you called my friend at the time explaining that Portia's career was on the verge of being ruined and explained and basically ex- what? I'm sorry. Y'all ever realize every time that somebody be trying to argue, whatever the case is, spell check literally be getting their ass. She says, um, you called my friend at the time explaining that Portia's career was on the verge of ruin and explained if I spoke on your relationship with Portia, you wouldn't know what she was going to do and I couldn't stop her. She says, and if I did say anything, you would tell the world that I cheated on you and everyone would believe you over me. When I did speak up, you sent me a cease and desist. In fear, I would say more than you did a recent interview with Tasha. Oh my God, not Tasha K, child. Tasha K trying to rack up any and all the interviews that she can because she still owe Cardi B that $4 million. Bitch, be fucking for real. And then of course, Jalen, who is Fallon's new husband, he basically speaks out and was like, hey, I've been keeping my mouth shut, bitch, but you keep speaking on my child and this, that, and the third. My child don't have nothing to do with the fact that you are a terrible husband. He even said, babes, all of your marriages have literally failed. It's time for you to stop blaming the women and look within. And I think that is so true. It is almost equivalent to how men will sit here and be like, well, y'all continuously choose the wrong men and choose the wrong men. You need to look within. Okay, well, I think it's time for men to understand that if every relationship has failed, then you need to look within. You need to understand that all of these women are not just coming out the blue and just doing shit to you. When in reality, it sounds that Simon is literally thinking that he's the one in control. He's the one that's going to be doing all of this and that and the third. And bitch, it backfires because you fucking with the wrong ones. He thought that he was going to be able to be a big dog and cheat and do this and that and the third, be a player, be P about it. And no, it wasn't that. Like, you literally took an L. So now you don't have your bitch. You don't have no visa, bitch. You not even allowed, bitch. You worried about the wrong shit. You worried about your ex-wife cheating and whatever, bitch. You need to worry about how the fuck you gonna literally live in America, ho. I'm just keeping it a buck. But nonetheless, child, make sure that y'all are checking out Real Housewives of Atlanta, because for y'all to say that Portia's job was on the verge of basically being taken away or whatever, I would never believe that. Now, if this was around the time that Portia had lied and said that, Candy was going to, drug her or whatever the case is, if y'all would have said her job was on the verge of being ruined, then I would have probably believed it. But right now, it's one of those things where Portia is literally like the Nene of the show. I hate to say it, but it is the truth. Portia is literally one of the staples of Real Housewives of Atlanta. So to think that Bravo is going to take the chance to basically have her job just like on the verge of being lost, no, I don't see it. So you could pack that one up and just leave it in the back somewhere, child, because that's a mess. Anyway, The trailer for the movie Is God Is has finally dropped, which is coming May 15th, and people are not happy with the title. The movie basically focuses on twins who are basically seeking revenge on their father who I believed burned them when they were babies. Yeah, okay. I don't know what the fuck type crazy shit, but I'm actually so excited to see it. A lot of people are basically saying they're not going to see it because they think the title is making fun of God, basically saying like God isn't real, and they say, people just love pulling shit out their ass. At the end of the day, it is a black film, a black thriller film, which I love. I love when black people literally step out of the whole like slavery and just injustice type of shit. Like I love when we step into other genres of movies. Um and I think being able to step into a thriller, which this movie is actually based off a play as well. Didn't know that, so I might have to go check that out essentially. But I see that the cast is jam packed. Vivica A. Fox, Sterling K. Brown. I think Janelle Monae is in the movie as well. But overall, if you get past the title, the movie seems actually very good. So make sure that y'all go check that out. Coming to theaters May 15th. Speaking of 15, Love and Hip Hop is currently ending after 15 years on air, right? I'm not going to lie. Love and Hip Hop actually had the potential to last longer than what it has, but because they just kept recycling the same old ass, washed up ass hoes. Don't nobody want to see this shit no more. And then the storyline started to get a little stale. Nobody was really love and hip hop. Like y'all just lost the recipe, and then all the extra like Miami, LA, and this and the third, whatever, it just didn't work. And it didn't work because y'all didn't want to elevate. Like, why the fuck are we still watching Rashida and Kurt? And then whole time to come to find out the Rashida, Kirk, and Jasmine storyline with the whole baby, like Kirk having a baby, whatever. Whole time that shit was supposedly fake. I don't. This is the thing, right? I love when reality TV still has real storylines, but it's not like production is really like, okay, well, we want you to bring up this. Like, I feel like sometimes when they tell us, like, oh, production was behind this, or production came up with this storyline, this, that, and the third, sometimes you can really tell when storylines are just made up because it seems so forced. And I just wish they went back to just naturally having storylines. And of course, you did things to tweak it to make it more entertaining, but to fully like write out a scene and how you want this to go, and then I need you to flip the table, then I need you to run across the whole scene and do. It just loses the essence of what reality TV, because the thing is, it's called reality TV. These things that we are doing is happening in our reality, but because it is TV, we do have to embellish some things. We do have to, tone some things down, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, I will say Love and Hip Hop started to die 5 years ago, especially because I heard that they started to take away the reunions and stuff like that. So it's like y'all was just having a show just to have a show at this point, and it really doesn't work like that. But nonetheless, I am happy to have experienced Love and Hip Hop for the most part. I wish that there was a way that we can bring real reality TV back. Maybe Mona Scott, hey, just call me, because I feel as though even with Real Housewives of Atlanta, right? I feel as though there was a point in time where they did lose the plot of what Real Housewives of Atlanta was supposed to be. But I think that now we're kind of getting that essence back, especially with the people that we cast. I think that if Love and Hip Hop was to recast people and redo everything, it could possibly be like a bigger hit. That's just my personal opinion. But nonetheless, shout out to Mona Scott for giving us great TV for the last 15 years, child. Okay. So we are moving on to, of course, music. So last week we had the French Montana and Rick Ross verses, and they had French Montana winning, which I'm not mad at essentially, but I'm not gonna lie, nobody was really tuned into this verses. I personally didn't see it because I was at work. So by the time I did like try to get on and watch it, it just didn't really make any sense to. But the set list for the verses went like this. Of course, the first song, well, first round, Shot Caller versus I'm Not a Star. I'm going with Shot Caller, and they had Shot Caller winning. I even think that some of these songs they did twice. Personally, I think that's kind of crazy. But hey, who the fuck am I? They had the Work remix and The Devil Is a Lie. Work remix, of course, won. Ever Since You Left Me versus I'm a Boss. Of course, I'm a Boss won. They also have percentages. Like I'm a Boss was 64% to 36%. That's kind of crazy. All the way up. I said all the way up. Um, they had All the Way Up versus Aston Martin Music. Of course, come on now, Aston Martin Music. Loyal Remix versus Diced Pineapples. Of course, Diced Pineapples. Mo Chicken versus Angels Remix. Oh, the Angels remix, Fuck With Me, You Know I Got It. Of course, they went Fuck With Me, You Know I Got It. I personally would have went Fuck With Me, You Know I Got It too. No Stylist versus Hustling. Every day I'm hustling, hustling. If they had Hustling winning. Ain't Worried About Nothing versus Rich Forever. Ain't Worried About Nothing. I'm a Coke Boy versus I'm Not a Star once again. I'm a Coke Boy. Lockjaw versus Tears of Joy. Lockjaw. Hot Nigga Remix versus MC Hammer. Now, I don't remember the MC Hammer song by Rick Ross, but I do remember the Hot Nigga Remix. And I'm not going to lie, people wasn't really fucking with the hot nigga remix. I'm just keeping it bug, especially because it was French Montana. People wasn't really fucking with French Montana like that. But that's just me. Don't Panic versus Here I Am. Here I Am won. Freaks versus Nine Piece. Freaks. I don't think I've ever heard that. Sanctuary, Mopstick, All I Do Is Win, of course. All I Do Is Win won. Unforgettable versus Devil in a New Dress. Unforgettable. After round 15, so 16 through 19 was basically they versus on songs versus each other, if that makes sense. So like French Montana verse on Pop That, and then Rick Ross verse on Pop That, right? So you have Pop That, then you have Stay Scheming, Meance in Miami, and Smoking Part 2. Now I will say they have Rick Ross winning for Stay Scheming, Minx in Miami, and then they have French Montana winning his verse for Pop That and Smoking Part 2. Um, yeah, I feel as though that was one of those verses that was just kind of like put together essentially. But nonetheless, shout out to French Montana and Rick Ross. I think that Rick Ross, or actually both of these niggas, have an album coming out soon, so I'm sure to be on the lookout for that. Young Boy actually pulls out of Rolling Loud after being announced as a headliner. This is coming after supposedly there were some like gay allegations on Twitter. Somebody basically tried to expose Young Boy for, having a little sugar in his tank, and then all of a sudden he comes out and was like, "Hey, I'm not coming to Rolling Loud anymore." Rolling Loud does replace Young Boy with Ken Carson, which I thought was cool, but of course, I personally feel as though a lot of people only bought tickets to Rolling Loud because they wanted to see Young Boy. But nonetheless, shout out to Ken Carson for being the new headliner. I fuck with bruh, and I know a lot of people don't because they don't really like the vamp type music. But hey, sometimes this be like the blessing in disguise that you never knew you needed. All right. Lotto is currently announcing retirement. How the fuck you gonna retire and you only got one album? I make it make sense. Just say you're giving up on music. I get whatever. She also says that she does have an album coming at the end of the month, May 29th. I don't get it, bitch. You just need to pop that fucking baby out and keep making music. What the fuck? Y'all have not put in enough time. And this is the thing. I Of course, Ben knew Mulatto from when she was, on the rap game, and then she came up, whatever the case, and then the whole name change or whatever. Girl, you have not done enough for you to be like, oh yeah, I'm retiring. Nobody gives a fuck. I just feel as though if you just wanted to stop doing music altogether, then that's what you just need to say. Or you just need to be like, hey y'all, this is my last album, this and the third. A lot of people were saying like, well, she could be playing this. No, I feel like the bitch is serious. Now that she became a mama, she don't want to basically do the very thing that was she don't want to do the very thing that basically made motherfuckers like her, which is rapping. Like, I don't know, you bitches end up having a baby and the birdness just starts to pop out. I'm sorry, I'm bitch. If you don't drop that bean, if you don't drop that bean and bread, baby, and call it a fucking day, bitch. Talking about fucking retire, bitch. Until you literally have about like 5 albums under your belt, that's when you can fucking retire. I'm sorry. That's when whatever. Quavo and Offset post up in the studio on IG. Are the guys coming back? I mean, of course it's not the guys because the best fucking Migo there is currently, passed away, which is so fucked up. Like Offset is literally right there and y'all take off. I know that's fucked up, but I'm just saying if we had to choose, I would think you take the crash out, the super crash out. But nonetheless, I am excited to see the Migos or just Quavo and Offset back together. I know that they've had drama over the years. There was a whole situation where motherfuckers was trying to say that Quavo was trying to get at Cardi B, yada yada yada. Bitch, we don't give a fuck about none of that shit. I'm really hoping that they drop new music, or even if they drop like unreleased shit, I'm just hoping whatever the fuck they drop, it has takeoff on it. I'm sorry, I'm just keeping a book. I need to hear my brother. I missed him. Okay, I really just can't believe y'all did him like that. Anyway, Rilla drops a diss track towards their sister. I don't know what she identifies as, so I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, she or he, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to be ignorant like that. But they basically dropped a diss track towards Glorilla, and to me it just seems like you so bored with life, bitch. You just trying to chase fame as much as possible. Like literally, what the fuck is the purpose? Like you are literally bored out your fucking mind. But I will say, I think I heard a bar from there. I don't remember it. Don't get me mistaken, but I think she literally said something in regards to like her being cool with Megan Thee Stallion and then taking her like style or whatever, and then not being cool anymore. That's like the vibe I was getting. And I'm not gonna lie, everybody has been slick like fake just all of a sudden having problems with Megan Thee Stallion, especially Glorilla. Like I just feel like that was very weird of her, especially when that bitch literally helped you out. Like bitch, she helped you become more feminine, but you would never acknowledge that. But yeah, I guess shout out to Rilla or whatever. I'm glad that she's getting the attention that she wants. Duran Bernard drops a video for his song "Am I Okay?" and Key Glock actually just announced an upcoming album, Project X, which will be coming June 19th. Of course, you all know today is Friday, so we have some new music. All right, so Chris Brown dropped his album Brown, and I'm not gonna lie, I did hear a few songs. Do y'all want my full opinion now, or should I wait for it to die out a little? I'm gonna wait for it to die out a little bit. I will give y'all my full opinion next week. Black and Young Thug drop a song called Ash in the Blunt. Um, Key Glock actually drops a song called Go. Tiana Taylor and Wale drop a song called Bed of Roses. This is the thing I want to say about Wale really quick. Wale has a tendency to literally support women way more than any other artist, and I don't think people fully realize that. Wale is literally for the girls. Wale is a real ass nigga that I feel as though doesn't. Wale is a real ass nigga who I feel as though doesn't get the flowers he actually deserves. Like even when people was trying to play him with the whole like Castanet situation, like at the end of the day, if you don't know who Wale is, it's because you just are either ignorant or you're ignorant. I'm not even gonna sit here and be like, oh, it's because motherfuckers be young. When no, motherfuckers who is young know who Wale is. I get so tired of that narrative, bitch. But nonetheless, I feel as though Wale needs to be in the conversation of people who I feel as though, even like a K Camp, bitch, them two niggas is the most slept on niggas in the fucking world, and I don't understand because they do nothing but give us great music after great music after great music. And guess what, y'all? Eat that shit up. But then when it comes to his regular shit, it's almost like a fucking Kendrick and J. Cole. Sometimes you motherfuckers just don't want to sit down and think. Sometimes you niggas don't want to sit down and listen to the shit that he has to say because y'all want to call it pandering, bitch. But nonetheless, Wale has always been for the girls, and I love that about him with his fine ass. But also, French Montana and Max B drop a song with Rick Ross called "Smoking Part 2." Wait, oh, so they just dropped the song and then did it at the verses? That's so fucking stupid to me. But hey, by all means, make a paper boo boo, all right? But that is all that I have for you all this week. Of course, before we get out of here, I have to leave you all with an uncut gem. So, of course, speaking of the Migos, y'all remember when the Migos was part of Quality Control when it was actually dropping heat, right? Do y'all remember the song with Lil Yachty called Menace? Bust it up and go ahead, baby, get nigga. Know you got a nigga, but I want to see you get nigga. Deep throat, baby, go ahead, take it. Yeah. That popped up on like my shuffle the other day, and I was just like, damn. Quality Control was really a time in life where motherfuckers literally was having a ball. I feel like, what was that, like 2018, 2019? That was probably the last time we actually got like some great group music at that. Like motherfuckers link and do music and it just don't hit the same. And I also feel as though that has a lot to do with the fact that motherfuckers is not cool enough to literally sit in a studio together and actually make songs. Like I get sometimes, you feel me, like you may send a song to a motherfucker and they might do the verse wherever they at and then send it back. Okay, cool. I just feel as though that should not happen for every single thing or every single project that's being put out. Bitch, I feel as though y'all need to be linking up together in the studio for hours and hours, bitch, getting high, drunk, whatever the fuck you need to do. Y'all just need to build community again so that way we can literally have songs like this. Like, when was the last time that Yachty and the Migos actually made a song together? Before the whole take off dying and shit. We ain't heard shit since. And I think that has a lot to do with Quality Control because I think Yachty was like signed to that or whatever. It was a lot of bullshit going on, but nonetheless, our uncut gem of the week goes to Lil Yachty, Quavo, and Offset for the song Menace. All right, so make sure you go ahead, bust it open, baby, get naked. Know you want a nigga, but I want to see you. No, I want to see you naked. Deep throat, baby. He said, hey, move with the quickness, saying that, and